Hello and welcome back to Spacious Planning. I'm Deborah, and today I am reviewing a planner by So Typical Me. A couple of weeks ago I ordered this planner and I've done a video and blog post about the ordering process. So Typical Me's kind of unique thing is how customizable they are. So the ordering process is quite interesting. You can change everything from the covers, the binding colour, elastic colour. Hello, Dax. We are joined by a cat again. Loads of options for the inside layout. So it's worth checking out that video if you've not heard of So Typical Me before, because it'll show you a bit more of what they're about. In this video, I'm going to review the planner that I received after ordering. So I'm going to do a fairly quick planner flip through, take a look at a pen test, talk about the paper quality, and then I'll go through three things. So my wish list, which is suggestions, ideas, things I'd like to see. It's not anything that's bad with this planner, but things that I think could be like added to make it better. Then the bad things, there is one flaw with it really that I think. And then the good things and what I like about it. So I ordered this planner for work. When I was looking for a work planner, I wanted an hourly. It needed good space for to-dos and notes, but I wasn't really bothered about weekend space. I also wasn't too bothered about a yearly overview. And I wanted something cheerful. I wanted something that I'd enjoy picking up each morning and enjoy having in front of me all day. So both the cover and the interior look and feel were important to me. So let's start with the cover. You can pick your design. There are loads of different artist-provided designs. They do collaborations with different artists. You can also upload your own photo if you want. And you can choose your binding cover, it's wire binding, and your elastic colour. The cover itself is, you get a protective plastic layer, and then the actual cover design is just on cardboard. You then have your like nameplate page. You can choose what icon you put here, or again, you can upload a photo. One of the questions I had when ordering, one of the things that wasn't clear, was whether you got any sort of yearly overview. As I mentioned, that wasn't particularly important to me. I don't need that for work, but it looks like you do. You get your like current year on the inside of your front cover and your next year on the inside of your back cover. You can start the planner whenever you want. So mine runs September 23 to September 24, but I get the full 2023 and the full 2024. It's not the most amazing yearly overview, but it's something. If you need like a little tracker or a little bit of forward planning, you do get some space for that. Once you get past the nameplate page, you are straight into your layout. So you start with your month. The months are dispersed through the planner. There are a few monthly layout options. I will come back to that with the wish list. It's one of the things on my wish list. You also get this clip-in, clip-out ruler with it, which is really handy. It comes with that. It also comes with a little sticker sheet, which is nice. The ruler I will use because there are no monthly tabs, so having something to let me easily flick to my monthly overview is actually quite handy. So I'll use it more as a bookmark than a ruler, I think. It does clip in and out fairly easily. I am just clumsy with this. There we go. So that's quite handy. The colourful frame is also one of the customization options. It's optional. You don't have to have it at all, or you can just have it on your weeks and leave it off your months. I chose to have it everywhere. I'm a fairly functional planner. I don't do a lot of stickers. I don't do a lot of kind of doodling or design. So for me, having the planner itself bring a bit of flair and colour is quite nice. And then the weekly layout. I went with an hourly, but they have loads of weekly layouts and then loads of ways to adjust each layout. You can choose like extra modules for your days. You can choose what you have along the bottom here. They've got loads of options for this. I kept it fairly simple, so I went for a standard sort of hourly vertical with a to-do list, some graph paper that I'll use to draw a little custom tracker, and then just some note space. And I'll probably use the weekend column as extra note space because, as I say, this is a work planner. Obviously, if you want this for personal planning, I tend to want a full weekend in my personal planner, but they have loads of other options. So you don't have to get one where the weekend is shared. And yeah, I mean, that's it through the planner with your months and your weeks, just going through. What another thing I like about the frame is it makes the edges of the planner look a bit colourful, which is rather pretty. At the end, you get a few notes pages. You can choose to not have any monthly spread, and you get more notes pages. But as it is, as I got a monthly spread, I just get 6 pages, 12 sides. Let's take a quick look at the pen test as we've landed on that page. As you will see, there is some smearing. The paper is pretty good. So I did a bunch of different pens, as you can see, and I don't know how easy it is to see on camera, honestly. There is a little bit of ghosting, but no bleed through, and honestly, the ghosting is not bad. You can see a bit of ghosting from the very heavy Erin Condren brush pen, and a little bit from the highlighter. The rest, you really can't see much. And as I say, no actual bleed through at all. So the paper quality is pretty good. And keep in mind, this planner is £25.90. So with free shipping. So it's not a super expensive kind of premium planner. So for the price point, I think the paper is really good. But it's quite a smooth paper. Now, I don't have a strong paper preference. Basically, paper can be smooth or it can be textured or toothy. The advantage of a more toothy textured paper is it sort of grabs the ink, which means when you use an inky pen, so this one here that I smeared was my Pilot V5, which is a liquid ink pen. It's really inky. On a more textured paper, that would be sort of grabbed into the paper. It would dry quicker. There'd be less chance of smearing. On a smooth paper, you need to allow a minute to dry. I mean, I wrote and then immediately ran my finger over it. As you can see with the actual pen test, because I left it for a minute before closing the book, it was absolutely fine. I don't think that's a big problem, right? The smooth paper feels quite nice to write on. Most of the time, I'm not going to be rubbing my hands over my pages, but it's just worth keeping in mind. Maybe if you use a fountain pen or very inky pens, you'd need to be a bit careful about letting it dry. But overall, really impressed with the pen test. And then after your notes pages, again, so the notes pages are customizable. You can choose your options. I just went for dot grid. You get a plastic wallet, which I wasn't expecting, which I'm happy about. You can also, the plastic wallet, like the ruler, is a clip-in, clip-out thing. I have to say, right, I'm not a big fan of Wiro. It is a lot cheaper than a coil. I get why cheaper companies use it, and there's nothing particularly wrong with this one, but it does make clipping in and clipping out stuff a little bit trickier than if it was a spiral coil. But just orient it round and then you can easily unclip and reclip the pocket. So if you don't want it, you can remove it. But I think that's actually quite handy. I quite like having a pocket in the planner, so I'm glad they include that. Then you're onto the back cover, which again is cardboard and then the plastic protector, and you've got your elastic there. So that is the flip through. So I'm going to do a quick sort of wish list. Now, it's a bit of a strange thing, my wish list part of my reviews that I'm planning to do. I want to talk about ideas I have for the planner, ways I think it could be improved, but that aren't, they're not things that are wrong with the planner, right? So I'd love to see more options for the monthly spread. Let me go back to my monthly spread. There are a few different choices, but for me, for work, I'd love a dashboard layout. It's like the month down here and then a dashboard. They do one dashboard layout, but it has really distinctive designs and kind of blotches of colour that wouldn't work with the rest of the planner as I'd set it up. It would just have looked really strange. So I'd love to see a neutral monthly spread, monthly dashboard, basically. And I think they could probably do a few more things with the monthly layout. But like, there's nothing wrong with this layout. It's a very standard layout, and you do still have a few options. I'm guessing the number of pages in the planner is fixed. Right, I mean, that's presumably why if you don't have a monthly spread, you get more notes pages. That makes sense, especially, I mean, like they'd have to start buying different coil sizes and so on to change that, so that's understandable. But one thing I would love to see is a 6-month planner option for a couple of reasons. First off, you could then fit a lot more notes pages. So for example, you could have maybe some notes pages dispersed with your months and then a load more in the back. I'd really like to see that. I think that would be fantastic. But also I like 6-month or even 3-month planners because they let you experiment. It's less of a commitment than buying a whole 12-month planner. And given that, okay, maybe the number of pages is fixed, but they clearly can choose, you know, do you include a month? Do you not? How many notes pages do you have? I feel like that's something potentially they could do, which would be really cool. So that's my wish list, my 2 suggestions: more monthly spreads and a 6-month option. I'd love to see. There is one bad thing about this planner. There's one thing I really don't like about it, and that is the way the elastic attaches. Now, I like having an elastic. I think it makes portability easier, but it attaches with these, let me move that to the middle, these metal bits here, just through the back plastic, which has 2 problems. First, it marks the back cover, which is a bit of a shame. It's a nice picture. It's a really weird picture. It's some like weird quirky fantasy animal, but it's kind of a shame it got marked by the wire-o, but not by the wire-o, by the elastic fixing. But in a way, more seriously, like actually affecting the functionality of the planner, it creates a bump, which it's not as big of a deal in the top right, but in the bottom right, it really is going to affect writing across kind of that corner of the notes section. So that's not brilliant. Now you can remove it. So that will just slide out through those holes, which I think is what I'm going to end up doing because I really don't want the lumpiness when I'm writing, which means I'm going to end up not having an elastic really. I'd love to see maybe if they sold the elastic as a band. So if they put those little dips that they have in the back cover, they could put, in fact they have them in the front cover as well. So they could sell it as a band that you just put all round the planner and then remove when you're not using or when you want the planner open. That would avoid having to come up with any sort of fixing for it. And it kind of does show quite badly on the back cover. So that's a bit of a shame. That it has that, but that's really the only bad thing about the planner. Is the only thing I'm a bit disappointed about, and there is loads of good stuff. So let's let's get positive. I love the price point. I love a 12-month fully customizable, and really I'm not going to talk through all the customization options in this video. There are so many. For £25.90 with free shipping, it arrived pretty quickly. I mean, considering it's a custom printing and then it had to ship from Sweden to the UK. Yeah, no complaints with delivery time, processing time, all of that. The price point is fantastic. The paper I think is great. Yes, it's smooth. Yes, the toothy paper is safer with inky pens, but very little ghosting, feels nice to write on. And again, for the price point, I think it's fantastic. Love the customizability. So I love customizing planners, right? I will sit there looking at I mean, I've played around with So Typical Me's customization software for about 2 years now. It's been about 2 years of me going, I really want to order from them, but I can't justify it, but I really want to. It's so fun, and there are so many options. And the software is good. The software is easy to use, and really importantly, what you get looks like what you see when you're customizing. And that it's not an easy thing to do, right? Colors on screen can be different from colors on paper. It can be hard sometimes to get like a sense of the scale of things when you're looking at them on the screen and how that will translate into paper. But there've been no surprises here. I'm looking at this and I'm like, yep, that's what I expected to get based on the customization software. So really happy with that. And it means, I mean, that's kind of reassuring, right? It means they feel trustworthy to order from, reliable to order from, which is brilliant. A small thing that I love are the colourful frames. I know they're not going to be to everyone's taste, but I love that it's an option. And for me, it really makes the planner right. It takes this from like a smart, customized layout to a really kind of fun, joyful layout. And that, yeah, I really, really like that about it. Yeah, I mean, and I was pleased with some of the accessories. I think the website mentions you get a ruler and stickers. I don't think it mentioned that there was a plastic pocket. That was a nice surprise. It's nice to see they have some yearly overviews. Yeah, I will almost certainly buy So Typical Me products again. I'm really looking forward to getting into this as a work planner. So I think I'll probably start using it next week, and I might do just some pictures probably on Instagram of how I actually use it. But I think it's going to work really well. And yeah, and I'm so excited that I finally got to order from them after looking at their website and playing with their configurator for such a long time. So that's this review. I'd love to know what you think. I will link to the part 1 video that shows the customization process. I'll link to that in the description, and to the blog post. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this was useful if you're thinking of buying from So Typical Me, and see you next time. Have a great day.